Hi everyone. I'm sitting here trying to decide how I want to start this video, and I've literally been sitting here for about 5 minutes with the camera running, and I haven't said anything because I'm not really sure how to start this. And I just kind of heard, just get out of your own way and proceed, Cindy. So I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna try that technique here. So I've been I've been communing the last, I would say, 10 to maybe the last 10 months, probably the last 10 months, with my guides on a very, very deep spiritual level, like more so than typical. And I've created, in that 10-month period, I have actually like downloaded a lot of information. I've channeled a lot of information. This information was for the most part beneficial to me at the time, as I was going through, well, I haven't really talked about it publicly on my channel, but I was going through, I would describe it was a stalking and harassment again, which I have experienced before on this channel, but it was in combination with nothing more than I could describe as nothing less than a spiritual attack at the same time as well. And it's kind of one of those instances when this is occurring um, when your back is up against the wall, is probably when you may at some points have some of the most profound spiritual experiences. So looking back on it, I would say that it was one of the most beneficial experiences for me, because it connected me so strongly. And I'm going to not try to, I'm going to make an effort to not dilute the level of connection that I feel that I have experienced. So I would describe it as nothing less than Christ consciousness that I was connecting with. And I would say, like, literally like speaking with God and communing with God. And I know as like tarot readers and mediums, we, often thank and tap into our ancestors and guides. Even when I do that, I still have a process where I specifically ask for divine energy to come forward, because there are different levels of spiritual energy that you can connect with. So in this, well, to make everything clear as well, so I would say within the last 4 months, I've honestly like completely cleared any spiritual attacks that were going on with me. I know who was stalking and harassing me. And I will say this publicly because I do know where they live, and I say that as a they. And they are completely unaware of that, but God will give you answers when you ask. I will tell you that. And some of the answers came to me in very unusual circumstances. So I basically found myself at a point where I felt I had very little power over both the safety and predictability of my life. Actually, at a period when I really honestly thought that I was going to start having that. But one of the things that I've also, and I don't know if others of you have encountered anything similar, but I do find at different points in time, and I would not have always defined them or described them as some type of a spiritual attack or energetic attack of some sort. But looking back, when it's hard to describe something as a similar situation because I've never really been through what I went through starting about 10 months ago. So one of the things that I've noticed is that when I'm under a period of extreme stress, or I don't know, maybe even the flight-fight response gets triggered in a very like meaningful way, that I tap into parts of myself that I was not aware of. And one of the things that I actually tapped into, this is probably maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago, was the ability to produce powerful or channel, I would say probably channel, powerful, at the time I would describe them as incantations. Now, where I'm going with this is because I'm going to be sharing these powerful channeled incantations, downloads that I've been receiving. I kept them pretty tight to my chest all of this time. And I did that because I was in, I guess you would describe as a defensive mode. I was protecting myself. And the information that I was receiving was paramount in protecting me. So I believed that if any energies that were trying to attack me in some way were aware of how I was protecting myself, that it would basically give that energy access, a key into the fortress. In the last, I would say, couple of weeks, I've been receiving more and more personal messages, I would say again from Christ consciousness, and basically kind of reminding me of something that I have noticed through the patterns of my life, is that many things that I find that I experience, I do that because I meant to help someone else with that experience, or I meant to have gained some type of wisdom through that experience to pass it on and help another. Or it's preparing me, it's kind of accumulating a level of expertise or wisdom that will be utilized and applied with, in combination with many other things that I might know, to create something new down the road. It's not to say that everything that we do and we think it's going to have a certain outcome that goes here, like maybe you start studying a course of some sort, and it's your intention to recertify or upgrade your certification in something, and you don't actually get the job that you thought you would get with that. But 2 years down the road, something else develops for you, and that is actually one of the skills that you're going to need in that. And I find that actually happens a lot. Like I really do find that everything that I've gone through, even if where I thought it was taking me didn't go, it ends up being very useful. So that was kind of a reminder that was coming in for me. And it was also reminding me the importance of sharing this information. So I've been hearing over and over and over again that the collective needs this, Cindy. The collective needs this, Cindy. And it made me more aware that the channeling and the that it's always not just about me. And it's almost like we took you through this so that this would be developed, this information would come through, and now it's time to share it with the collective. Because sharing it with the collective is what really changes the world. And it's true. I, as one person, I cannot change the world. I can change myself more than I can change anything else. And I can try to change how I react to what goes on in my world. And I can share what I know. And then I can just leave it up to others. So I guess I've kind of talked through. I mean, there's just so much to say in this. So I'm not really, again, like it just took a long time to sit here and try to think, how am I going to start this? And there's a ladybug on the ceiling right now. So, okay, what I'm going to be sharing with you on my channel over the next little while, and I don't know if I'm just basically going to be sharing with you what I've accumulated up to this point, or if there will be more information coming through. The information is basically meant to help you yourself connect in the most authentic and powerful way possible with the divine, with source, Christ consciousness energy. And it's to help you reclaim your power. It's to help you remove things from your life that are not in your highest good. And when you eventually see okay, well, what we call them, they're not, I've been told not to call them incantations, prayers, affirmations, because putting any of those labels on these channeled messages, statements, it may make one group of people feel excluded, or they may not accept what's coming through. I mean, you could basically call it anything you want to call it. They're called soul time statements. So they're soul time statements, and they're, as I said, intended to help you connect in the most powerful way possible. And it is to elevate you and help you walk a path to allow you to live your most prosperous, happiest life possible without being interfered by negative sources and energies. Now, it's not to say that at some point those won't come in. And the first soul time statement that I'm going to share with you, which will be the next video kind of in this series, there is a portion in that soul time statement that does talk about difficulties that you may face, because there's always, well, I'll get into that. We'll get into that when we do that statement. I'll talk about it there. So I'm just going to see where this goes. I still continue to have an early morning routine that does involve many of these soul time statements that you will be receiving on my channel. Certain soul time statements are quite relevant, dependent on a certain circumstance that you might be working through in your life. Like, it can be very topic specific. For instance, if you are experiencing some type of spiritual attack, evil eye, malintent from a people, person, energy, entity, then you would obviously use that soul time statement to help you obviously spiritually protect yourself. Now, often when we have any type of spiritual attack on ourselves is because our own vibration has become lower. And I would say, like, that was probably absolutely true for me after I had moved here, and just everything that I've been through in the last 5 years was just like mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually exhausted. And so being very susceptible to that. So obviously I'm not now. My frequency, I feel, is quite high. It's actually quite high to the point where I have to get rid of my Halloween decorations. I just don't ask. I can't. They just don't combine with where my frequency is right now. So that's a new one. But anyways, so where I'm going with this is there might be some soul time statements that are not valuable to you at the time that, they're kind of coming out on the channel. But there are other ones, there are many, that are used on sort of a daily basis. And these ones are just for your day-to-day. And the first one that I will be sharing is called As I Rise and Shine. And that's the one that will be next on my channel. So I'm not going to lie, like, I've questioned this a lot. When I was walking, I knew something was coming up. I knew God was calling on me to do something here. Kind of like when I started doing the tarot, and I took that online on social media, and I was like, I don't understand. I don't expect anything from this. It was more that, like, I really didn't expect anyone to tune into my channel and see what I was doing. And but there's been many things that I've been asked along the way that I often question, I don't understand at the time. But then eventually it makes sense down the road. And this is one of those instances where I do feel like I'm kind of putting myself out there. I'm putting myself out to criticism. And yeah, it actually, really honestly, it quite just bounces off me at this point. I think it's not that this is off topic from what I would typically do on the channel. But obviously it does not involve any tarot cards. It does not involve any oracle cards. It is channeling, which I do quite often when I am reading tarot. So walking Lily this morning, I kind of had like a back and forth dialogue in my mind with God. And there were things about this process or this new, say, like appointment. I feel like, yes, you've been appointed, Cindy. Please do this. Please share this with the collective. And I'm just doing it. Like, I really don't have a plan here. So maybe that's what I'm trying to say. It's I really don't have a plan. I'm just doing what Spirit is telling me to do. That's what I do. I'm doing what Spirit is telling me to do. I don't have any ulterior motives in this. So that's probably why there's no plan. I'm just like doing it. I'm just going to do it. I won't say, not necessarily a plan, but I have received a very strong indication that this is needed at this time. This is very, very important to help elevate the collective. That the collective has become very disconnected from God and their own truth. There's an awful lot of distraction out there right now that's really meant to instill fear, to lower vibration, to polarize. And so anyways, this is my little injection through guidance of the heavens to share this with you. So shortly after this video is released, the As I Rise and Shine Soultime statement, I will release that as well. And so anyway, so when you see these, they'll basically be Soultime statements. They could be other channeled messages as well, that I receive or I'm shown that I've received in the past and I'm being indicated to share with you. Then I will do those. I believe I'm still supposed to do what I was doing before in terms of reading tarot and oracle cards. Now, I do feel like I'm kind of being called to pull away from the zodiac this week. This is kind of like a soul time infusion into the collective this week. So there will likely be collective messages. And that's what I have. So, yeah. If you guys have any questions too, I mean, I won't answer them in the comments. That can get really lengthy. If you do have any questions about any of this, I can like kind of put those questions together and answer them in another video as well. But I know like people talk about having a particular guide or angel that they speak with. And I don't know. All I can say is I believe mine is Jesus. I really do. Like that's the Christ consciousness energy that I tapped into. Yeah, actually, it's kind of funny. I'll share that. I'll share that with you. So one of the ways that I can sometimes also channel is not only shuffling cards, but I will shuffle music. And I had a suspicion that I was like connecting very directly with Christ energy. And I specifically asked in my mind who I was connecting with. And no word of a lie, I shuffled on my phone. I have like, I don't even know how many songs, thousands of songs. So I got Depeche Mode's Personal Jesus. It's really like, kind of really blew me away. And that happened about a week ago when I was just kind of like really sitting with, this feeling that I was going to be kind of nudged to do something like this. Again, I'm not really sure what this is, and I'm just doing it. Yeah, so that's it. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to share this stuff with you, and I hope it makes a difference. I really do. It had a profound impact on my life, and I have been able to reclaim my energy from my own demons that I've called in over the years. It's all, yeah. I know they're always lurking behind the corners, but that's part of being here on Earth. So that's what I have for you guys. And yeah, I'll see you on the other side. Bye.